Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, don't give up, give up. Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, don't give up, give up. Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, don't give up, give up. Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, give up, give up, give up.
I know you got doubts, but get to the bag. Just follow the dream and stick with the plan.
Greetings, Redheads. Thank you for joining us in another episode of your favorite show, the one, the only Red's View. I am your gracious host, J Red, and I have another special guest with me today. She's a regular now.
Yes, I am.
Shout out to Alicia, but we got Arnesia. I wish Alicia could be here right now, but I had my schedule messed up because I got a DJ later. But it's my fault, y'all. Anyway, but we got to get these topics out. Before we begin, make sure that you subscribe to youtube.com/RedsView. We got a lot of important things to actually address and talk about. So thank you for joining me again, Arnesia.
Of course, of course.
All right, so first thing that I want to talk about, R. Kelly.
Okay.
R. Kelly has been found guilty for
As he should have.
for the racketeering charges and all this other stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Now, since he has been found guilty for all of that stuff, a lot of people have been questioning whether or not people will still listen to his music or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, now that he's been found guilty, because you're innocent until proven guilty, Correct. But will you still listen to his albums or music, right? And the thing is, some people were just like, if you're gonna do it, just say it, don't promote it, blah 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 blah, whatever, right? However, his record label, or the record label that owns his masters and all that stuff, his music is still on streaming platforms. Right. YouTube just removed his YouTube channels, but I think you can still find videos up there. Yeah. So the whole thing is, his catalog is still out there.
Correct.
Whether old vinyl, CDs, whatever, and the man has had 30 years worth of music. Correct. Classic music. So the question is, can you separate the man from the music and listen to his music?
I can't.
You can't?
No.
Okay.
I actually stopped listening to it when all this stuff started blowing up again. Now, I like his music. Don't get me wrong. I like he's probably the greatest R&B artist.
Arguably, yeah.
Of all time. Like,
yeah.
his music, like you said, is classic. It's timeless. You can play it 20 years from now and people still gonna say, oh, this shit slap, you know? But when you think about the lyrics and all this other stuff, you know what I mean? And I saw somebody say, oh, would y'all listen to people who talk about shooting people and killing people all the time and drugs and all this other stuff, and y'all don't separate that? And I agree with that. I agree with that perspective. But at the same time, that level of abuse is not, with me being a black woman, that level of abuse is not something that I'm just going to feed into and say, oh, you know, it's just music. It's not just music, because what you listen to, you actually internalize. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that it's going to make somebody want to be a molester or want to abuse women or, you know, be manipulative or anything like that. But it's just not for people to be saying... A lot of the people who I saw saying that they were still going to listen to R. Kelly were women.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that was problematic to me, because it's just like, it could have been you. It could have been somebody you were related to. Like, and yeah, I feel like the parents and whoever else were involved should also go down. I'm pretty sure they got plea deals and all the other stuff. But I don't feel like he should still be glorified for the things that he was talking about. He's literally talking about fucking with underage girls.
Well, this is the thing.
In a lot of his songs.
I gotta disagree. Now, I wasn't with him when he was actually writing, because we're talking about just the music, right?
Correct.
Now, Frank Ocean, for example. I remember when Frank Ocean first came out the closet. I don't know the right terms these days, but came out, right, with his sexuality. You had a plethora of people that were like, I'm not gonna listen to this anymore, because he could be talking about a man. On some songs, but what people could do is separate the person from the music and say, okay, if he's talking about a man, I could act like he's talking about a woman, right? I
mean, but we interchange pronouns all the time. So I could be listening to a song by Tank, and I'm going to change the pronoun.
The pronoun, right. Exactly.
To him.
So what I'm saying with R. Kelly, when I hear Bump and Grind, honey, like, first of all, I'll say this. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm not going to stop listening to R. Kelly music. Valid reason why. When Chocolate Factory came out in 2002, 03, right? I was in middle school, and I remember the sex tape was out, right? Of him having sex, pissing on an underage girl.
I don't think we were old enough to really. I wasn't.
But it was out there, and I remember it was all in the news, and I was trying to cancel him. I was like, I don't want to listen to him no more, right? All my friends.
In middle school?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was listening. I mean, come on now. Like, middle schoolers, you act like we weren't listening to.
I was, but I wasn't thinking about canceling anything.
Well, I didn't feel comfortable listening to him.
Okay.
Right? So I'm like, he messes with underage girls. But everybody was stepping in the name of love. He was #1 on BET, selling records. So, and that's when, the whole thing is when it comes to the black women, because he's doing all this to black women. White society doesn't give a shit about black women. Right? Because if that was the case,
his music would be pulled.
And back then, he would have been canceled, right? Until white people came out with this documentary for Lifetime, they decided, okay, now it's time to be mad at him. So I say to that, fuck it. Because now, I'm not discrediting anything that he has done, because, of course, he's a monster, you know what I'm saying, a horrible person or whatever like that. But also, people have to pay attention to what this trial actually means, because he's not actually going to jail for what you think he's going to jail for.
Correct.
They said racketeering.
But he also has some other trials.
He has, yeah. Now, those other trials. See, I'm talking about this one.
This particular one.
This particular one, I want people to really sit back and look at the charge. I'm not going to name everything, but racketeering, you have to look at the definition of what that means and what they actually are putting him in jail for. Because if you're okay with that, you're setting a precedent to where somebody like me and you could end up going to jail based off of I'm white and I say so. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want you to go to jail. Because right now, if 50 women said that I did the R word to them, right? Some people will believe that I didn't do it, even though they could say, are all of them lying? But say that I had a sexually abusive past, and I beat all of that, right? But then 50 women are saying, hey, he did this. You're going to probably believe them.
Yeah, because everybody ain't lying.
Yeah, exactly. But I wanted to point that out. But the other thing is, as far as his music and stuff, right? Like, I don't know if he was actually talking about those women, because when I heard, when I hear his music, I be thinking of a woman. When I hear Honey Love, I think of an adult woman. That's me, right? I Believe I Can Fly has nothing to do with a woman.
Correct.
Or Step in the Name of Love has nothing to do with a woman or all that.
A lot of his songs don't have anything to do with an underage girl. Exactly. But at the same time, you just have to think about the fact that he was still doing all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
At the time,
And you know, I get how when you said that years ago, white people all knew that he was doing it and nobody said anything, probably because it was black girls. That's probably why.
If it was white women, it would have been over.
It would have been over with.
Yeah.
But I mean, that just furthers the point. Nobody cares about black girls, so who's going to care?
Yeah.
Like,
so I want
who's
black
going
women,
to care?
I want
black women should, yes, absolutely.
But see, what I don't want is for them to be like, okay, justice is served, because justice should have been served
years ago.
We knew. How long did we know about Aaliyah?
Let me tell you this. Okay. As far as I lived in a shell when I was younger, I really did not care that much. I didn't watch a lot of TV. Okay. I was such a super nerd.
See, I was watching VH1. I used to watch all that shit.
Watch Cedar's World and shit like that, but I was
but
not
you wasn't like heavily into it.
It was TV. I could tell you,
it was common. It was common knowledge. Like, everybody knew that.
I remember hearing about the sex tape. I remember hearing about him peeing on a
You never seen the sex tape, right?
I still haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. I think they because it's child pornography.
You can find it somewhere.
I think they really wiped it off the internet because it's child pornography. It used to be on the internet, but I think once they started cracking down.
Well, okay, that makes sense.
It legally is child pornography.
You don't think you can find it on the porn sites?
You probably. I mean, I don't know. I ain't gonna say. I was gonna say you can probably. Because if you are watching it, you are watching child pornography.
Yeah,
so
that's true. I mean, I never saw the tape. I never saw any of that. I watched the documentary when it came out.
Yeah.
So a lot of that was new information to me.
Oh, okay.
I also looked at like some interviews of his ex-wife. She was on some show talking about why she wasn't giving up her last name, like all kinds of shit. Like a lot of the people who were tied to him are just in a weird space.
Yeah.
Like because she was talking about, oh, I'm not getting rid of my last name because all of my businesses are tied to it. Why would you put your businesses in that name?
Exactly.
Like I wouldn't have done that. I would have never thought to do that.
And the thing is, I say people have the freedom because some people still sing the Star Spangled Banner, and if you know the lyrics up in that is racist than a motherfucker. Let me see what you're trying to say.
All we ever did was be black.
But all right, exactly. So look. People do, like D.L. Hughley said it the best, like, if you listen to if I sing the Star Spangled Banner, I'm not going to stop listening to R. Kelly when Michael Jackson was accused of.
That's a valid point. Those are all valid points, but just at the end of the day, when you think about abuse, I just think about other people who have been abused and friends that I may have. I guess because I'm a woman, I have friends who've been abused. Yeah. And now, granted, all of them weren't abused as children, but for the ones who have, you know, for them to hear music about him talking about doing whatever he's doing to young women, it just don't sit right with me. Like, I mean, and I get it. Honey Love and all them other songs, they slap. Don't get me wrong. Because Vibe, we played Vibe in the band my freshman year.
She's got that
That's
vibe.
one of my favorite band songs of all time. That shit slap. But I'm just, you know, he brings her name up at the end. He said Aaliyah's got it at the end of the song.
No, but he that was before he met Aaliyah though. He married her like 94, I think. That song came out in like 90. This is before 12 Play and all that.
You sure?
I know.
Okay.
Public announcement because it was R. Kelly in Public Announcement.
That nigga said her name. He must have had his eye on her.
It's more than Aaliyah.
I know, I'm just saying. He could have, all them girls, all those names could have been somebody younger.
Yeah, I mean, he was back then, it was the whole, if you 18, you seen that video where he was on stage and said, look, if you legal, just, look, I say this. I still listen to it.
Cut the shit off.
You know,
cut it off.
I say that if you don't want to listen to it, and if you're thinking about underage girls, whatever like that, but people still gonna play "I Believe I Can Fly" at
graduation. They are. And everybody gonna be sitting there uncomfortable. Like,
but
okay.
No, you know, people still like one of my line brothers, because he's a DJ. Shout out to Don Juan. Because I've been scared to kind of play R. Kelly tracks, whatever. But he was playing Hotel with Cassidy. Everybody was just jamming.
People still jamming. I heard it in the club, and some people be like, "Boo," and then other people like, "Fuck
they
y'all."
Like, fuck it. Because I think it's more people that don't give a shit versus people who really do care. Because I mean, you really truly can't cancel him, especially if they're still making money off of him. Pretty much, yeah.
He has the same type of fan base as Boosie. No matter how wrong he is, and Boosie be wrong all the damn time.
Right.
No matter how wrong he is, he's still gonna have support. Yeah. But my biggest issue is I just wish that people would stop bragging about supporting it. You know what I'm saying? It's not even the fact that you're gonna listen to it. Because you know you got some people who feel like they can't separate the person from the artist. The artist. You know what I'm saying? And I won't even jump down your throat about it. But the fact that you on social media telling me, I'm going to listen to the nigga anyway. I'm just going to go. Like, it just kind of sound, you just sound like you don't care.
But
you sound like you don't have no empathy.
But to be fair, these media outlets, and as far as like Hot 97 Breakfast Club, they bring it up.
They do. They do.
Like,
because they do that to get social media responses. Like there's an algorithm to pay attention to all that shit. Yeah. So they do that because they want to create another buzz. That also gets them more streams, more listens.
Exactly.
All that. It makes them all money.
That has a lot to do with why people are proudly saying, because naturally everybody, if you're gonna listen to something, you're gonna listen to it. But I think that once it happened, and then my thing was, I'm like, even though he wasn't convicted, I'm like, he been doing this, you know. We know he's guilty. We know whether they can prove it in a court of law or not. From the Gayle King interview to whatever other interview that man has ever done, we know he's guilty. Yeah, of underage girls.
Of underage girls. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, do I think the parents need to be charged? Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah,
yes. And I mean, and I also have to think about this. Our millennial parenting, I think millennials are stricter parents, not in what we allow our children to do, but in who we allow our children around. Mm-hmm. In the 90s, our parents used to lock us outside. You know what I'm saying? I mean, white vans could be driving around this neighborhood. Yeah. I mean, and you look at, I can't remember what that show was called, but it was basically about this girl who had been groomed by a neighbor. and he was, kidnapped her and did all kinds of stuff with her, and her parents never thought anything of it because he was a family friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that type of stuff happened a lot in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel like
some of the
parents
80s
just
too.
weren't, well, prior to the 2000 period, but parents just weren't cognizant of predators.
Yeah.
As weird as that is.
Yeah.
And that's something we think about all the time.
Exactly.
So,
and I mean, it is, so anyway, y'all, let us know in the comments how you feel about
Canceling.
that,
Let 'em
but
go.
yeah, anyway. So, speaking of canceling,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about one of my favorite comedians, Dave Chappelle.
I like Dave.
Dave Chappelle released the Netflix stand-up special, which is called Closer.
Mm-hmm.
And Closer right now is the most talked about thing in the media. Like, it's the hottest topic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason it's the hottest topic is because the LGBT community are livid. They are hot. They are steaming. I'm talking about they're boiling right now. And the reason that they're boiling is because unlike his other stand-ups that did talk about and have jokes about LGBTQ, this one, like 90% of it is LGBTQ, right? Which, rightfully so, is raw comedy. You know what I'm saying? It's comedy.
Makes fun of pain.
Comedy makes fun of pain. Comedy is raw. It's supposed to be unfiltered. Because when you're on stage, you're not supposed to do or say things that people will
commercial
like.
Jokes.
Commercial jokes.
Kevin Hart is a commercial comedian.
Exactly. Very commercial comedian. You're supposed to say things that will get people going. Mm-hmm. So, Dave Chappelle, this is no different from when he says nigger. Mm-hmm. When he talks about
every other breath.
He said every other breath when he talks about black people, when he talks about white people, Hispanic people. We know
about everybody.
Everybody. Have you seen the Chappelle show? He makes fun of black people all the time. Violence. He made fun of R. Kelly pissing on girls in the club, right? But the minute that he talks about somebody of that community, then it's an issue.
Yeah.
So basically in this, if you haven't seen it, I mean, he was just basically talking about going at the transgenders, like just making jokes about them. And the most important piece that I got from it is that he called out the racism within the LGBT
That was
community.
the point of the comedy special, and he said it multiple times. He was just like, everybody thinks that I have a problem with the LGBTQ plus community when I really have a problem with white people, because white people, his issue was, we've been in this battle for 400 years. Mm-hmm. And y'all been in this battle for, I don't remember any LGBT, I don't even remember that alphabet acronym ever until the last couple of years.
As far as being in the forefront. Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
It wasn't really a big acronym. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And there was no movement when I was in high school. I mean, as far as it being big, is the civil rights movement or anything comparable.
Yeah.
So he's just like, y'all kind of like a 5-10 year movement, and y'all got law after law after law, and here we are. Niggas been fighting for 400 years, and we get Black Lives Matter.
If that. And that's infiltrated.
We don't have anything tangible.
Yeah, we don't.
So it's just like, he doesn't like the fact that white people have created a movement and said, hey, like he said, hey, nigga, you got to call me a woman now. Mm-hmm. Yep. He doesn't like that.
Yeah.
And they use their privilege to push something that doesn't include black people.
Exactly.
And he's trying to get black people to understand the feminist movement does not include black women.
No.
The LGBTQ plus movement does not really give a fuck about black people, because when transgender women or trans men are killed, it's really trans women. When black trans women are killed because of whatever hate crime or whatever, when the fuck does the LGBT community ever show up for them? Never.
Or when black women get killed, the LGBT community, they don't stand up when it comes, because if it's supposed to be all inclusive, right? Meaning that if you're in the LGBT, it's not just supposed to be white, it's supposed to be everybody,
it's
right?
Supposed to be everybody.
But if a gay black person gets killed, right? Now, if they just get killed by the police, they're not going to say anything. Maybe if it's gay or sexually related, to it, I don't even think that.
I haven't seen it.
So
if somebody has seen it, correct me, but I haven't seen it. It hasn't been anything that was just broadcast. You see a white woman come up missing, and it's all over national news. It's international news, but
and that happened recently.
And that just happened. So I mean,
So the thing is, He's calling that out. And everybody, now they're talking about trying to remove his special.
I don't think they should.
Now, this is my thing.
What?
If anybody watched his last special, he made a whole child molestation joke. Talking about if Michael Jackson wanted to sleep with me, I would do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As a kid, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got my dick sucked by Michael Jackson. He even had like a child molestation joke in this one.
Yeah, he did.
So, you mean to tell me you can talk about child molestation, something that R. Kelly
just did
is going to jail for? You can talk about that, but when you talk about or killing people, just whatever, right? But when you talk about LGBTQ trans people, then it's an issue. Now, this is the thing. He's proven, like, they're proving his point right now because, you know, if you get joked on, right? First grade, they keep talking about you. If you react to it, they're going to keep going.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to make
now,
it worse.
It's hurting your feelings.
Yeah. But if you just be like, whatever, they're going to eventually get bored. But every other race group listens to Dave Chappelle. If you look, it's not a black audience. It's not just black. It's mixed up.
He's probably one of the...
most diverse.
Yeah.
You look in the crowd, it's white people, because Dave Chappelle originally was like for kind of like in that white comedy background. You know what I'm saying? He didn't appear in like classic black movies. That wasn't really his audience, even though he was in Def Comedy Jam and stuff like that. But if you look at that, he didn't get popping until he got on Comedy Central.
Correct.
So, you know what I'm saying? Popping. So the thing is, you cannot cancel Dave Chappelle. Want to know why? The man canceled himself about 20 years ago.
Yeah, he did.
He canceled himself. $50 million on the damn table for the Chappelle show. But what happened? They wanted to infiltrate his show and make it to something that he didn't want to do.
And he said no.
He was like, nah, forget it. Then when he did that, they blackballed him. Tried to make him look crazy. Said he went to Africa and was like doing all kind of crazy shit, right? So much to where years later he explained what happened. He said, fuck the industry. Yeah. So guess what? He is just like Boosie. You know what I'm saying? Just like different people who have their own audience. His just happens to be a large majority. So with his specials, and I can say this, Netflix knew what they were doing when they signed Dave Chappelle. He got 6 specials, and I think he got like 60 million, so I think it's maybe like 10 million per special or something like that. But he said this was his last one for the deal.
I don't believe
that. For the deal. For the deal. Okay. Yeah, his last Netflix one, right? So the thing is, you can't. How the hell can you cancel somebody that doesn't give a fuck? He's not trying to be in movies.
He's not.
He's not trying to be.
But he still get him.
Yeah.
If he wanted him, if there's somebody who would sign him.
Hell yeah, they would
hire him for a movie.
Yeah. So you can say, now the thing is, they're proving his point by going out of their way saying you need to take that down. But black folks never go to him and say, you need to take it down. You've been saying nigga the whole damn time. You know what I'm saying? And now it is about what you actually... One thing that is important, and this has happened to the baby, the LGBTQ, what I respect about them is that they don't allow you to even get to a point, they'll stand up for what they believe in. Like when the whole time the baby was getting quote unquote canceled, they were like, well, he says nigga and talk about fucking women and calling women bitches and everything like that. They were like, well, if black folks acted like it was an issue, then he wouldn't be able to perform at festivals and everything. Which, you know, it's whatever, true. Right? But in Dave Chappelle's case, it's jokes.
It's jokes.
Jokes don't have a color. You can get on anybody with jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Jokes really don't have a standard. Like there's not a blueprint that you have to follow in order to be a comedian.
Right.
If your audience finds you hilarious, then guess what?
You found it.
You made it.
You found it.
You know? And people,
we have to get out of that. And I'm not even gonna say we. I'm particularly talking to the LGBTQ community because, like he said, the baby can talk about killing. Like, he did.
He actually killed him, and that's what he said. He was like, you can kill somebody, and nothing happens to your career, regardless of if it was justified or not. And we know enough about the baby to know that man ain't wrapped too tight. He's not. He lacks emotional poise and emotional intelligence. He probably took that situation way out of control and escalated it to a point where he didn't even need to really shoot the dude, but he was able to prove his case somehow.
To say it was self-defense.
Say it was self-defense.
But that made him better. It made his street cred as a rapper because he caught a body and it helped promote.
Right, correct. Yeah. It made his lyrics more,
Well,
valuable, but at the end of the day, why is it that you could kill somebody and Dave Chappelle even said, I don't agree with anything that the baby said. He was wrong. He made a big mistake. But he was like, why is it that he could kill somebody and then he makes an incorrect statement? He even said the same thing about Kevin Hart. He's like, I don't even know what Kevin Hart said on Twitter some years ago. But like, it was something related.
Like
something about gay, something.
About his son playing with a dollhouse or some shit like that.
And Kevin Hart got canceled from the Oscars, was it? So it was just like, you taking money away from these people when you wouldn't have done it if he was white.
Exactly.
And that's his whole point.
Yeah.
His point is, this shit would not be happening if they were not black. And because we have white politicians who do grimy shit day in and day out. I watched a TikTok video recently. It was basically asking about the abortion thing, and it was asking this guy, hey, can a woman have an abortion if she was raped, or what about if she was a young girl, or what if this is my first time and I can't afford it? And he was like, okay, well, what if you cheated on your wife and your mistress got pregnant? And he was silent. Oh, so you would believe in abortion if it keeps you out of trouble?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, that these people, they've been breaking rules for all this time, but you can break all the rules you want to if you white, and that's all Dave Chappelle was trying to talk about.
Exactly. He making fun of like lesbians or just whatever. Like I said,
he picked people who were his friends.
Yeah,
he didn't pick people that he did.
The trans person,
trans woman that died, Daphne. I think that was her name.
She was a comedian.
Yeah, she
her
was
family speaking out for Dave Chappelle.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly. So I mean, he was not. He didn't have any ill intent when he was telling these stories. He just, was trying to make a point. And if you missed the point, you weren't watching it.
Which means that you prove his point by saying, "No, take that down."
Correct.
No. How about that?
No,
you can't.
I'm not taking it down.
Stop doing that shit. Like, you can't just because somebody said something you don't like. He didn't. Because I think somebody tried to say that he's causing, like, it could be violence towards.
No, what Boosie said was a hate crime. He talked about he was gonna beat up Lil Nas.
Yeah.
Now that's hate crime. That's hate speech. Well, Dave
Chappelle said nothing of the sort at all.
Nothing. He just said something you're uncomfortable with.
And he said he was stating facts. Like, he was stating facts. It's like everybody got here from the womb.
Exactly.
Everybody did, which is a fact. Now, I ain't gonna get it too much into it or whatever like that, but it's like, if you are trans, if you are gay, if you're straight, right? People are gonna have their opinions about you, whatever. The whole thing is the racism within the LGBTQ, and
because that's the only reason why they're moving forward.
Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, man. But I think that it was a great stand-up. I loved it. I think, funny. Yeah, you can't, like I said, you can't cancel them, and that's what pisses them off the most. Like Boosie, as much ridiculous shit that he says, you can't cancel him. He has too many supporters, and his supporter ain't you anyway.
Too many people who agree with him.
Yeah. So even gay people who commented on my status, they're like, yeah, they tripping. Yeah. So it's whatever. All right, so shout out to Dave Chappelle. All right, nothing that I want to talk about. Jada Pinkett Smith. She was in the news, I think, like last week or the week before, right? And she talked about how she's learning she needs to find love. Not with her husband,
Don't let your husband stop you from finding love.
Don't let your husband, listen, you can be married, but do not let your husband stop you from finding love. See, the thing that I wanted to bring this up is because I feel like women, well, I know it, women can get away with saying shit like that, and it could be deemed as accepted, right? If I'm a man and if I say that, yeah, I got a wife, but I really want to find love, or if I had a wife and her and my daughter's friend came over, she's like young, not underage, but she's young, and I know she has mental issues and things like that, but they come into my household and we get them better, and then I end up fucking her, you know what I'm saying? And then it comes out, how would I be looked at? As a predator?
Trash.
I would be looked at as trash, all this other stuff. Now, Jada Pinkett was getting her fair jab a little bit, but for her to be married and have a successful man, a man that makes a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? Like all this stuff. But for her to talk about still trying to find love and all this other stuff, we all know she loved Tupac, actually.
Did you read what Will said, though?
No, I didn't. What did Will say?
So that's why you feel like that. Okay, so Will wrote this. I don't know if it was. I guess I read a transcript or whatever. But Will was basically saying how he wasn't the best husband, and he understands where she's coming from.
Of course, he was saying.
But you have. If he was the one who said it, you can't have a problem with it. But see, the reason. This is the thing. Will. I think Will was successful already, right?
Yes.
When they got married.
Yes.
Okay, so Jada was still up and coming at the time, and there were a lot of spaces that she was required to be in that she was uncomfortable about. She didn't want a big wedding. She didn't want a lot of these things, and he was all about showboating and all this other shit. She wasn't into that, and their marriage was all about him flexing his muscles, and she just wanted to be reserved. And because he wanted to be this big nigga on the block, she had to like deal with it. And it caused a lot of issues in their relationship. Like he talked about how for her birthday one year, he put up this grand, extravagant ass party with like a video of something, whatever was on the video. Was basically him flexing and saying, "Oh, Jada, you have all this," and blah blah blah. And when they got back to the room, she was in tears. She was like, "That was the biggest display of ego I've ever seen in my life."
Okay, so why did she? So my thing is, why stay?
They got married. Have you ever looked at like what he required her to do with his ex-wife and all that other shit?
Yeah,
like, and she agreed to it. Don't get me wrong, but once you're married, it's not just that easy. Marriage is a business transaction.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? Once you're married, it's not just I'm out. You can say I'm out that fast and before you get married, all the way up to fiancé status. Up until you say I do. You're out scot-free, but with the amount of money and the inheritance and all the other things that they had already had, like she was just trying to, I don't know, I guess make it. But
does that give her an excuse to fuck August Alsina?
No.
Okay. All right. I just want to clarify.
When they talked about that on the red table, he was basically saying how they were already at odds with each other.
Yeah, but they already been swingers, and they were
swingers, and I feel like all of that was Will. That was not Jada. She just had to deal with whatever her husband wanted to deal with, and just think about the mental gymnastics you got to deal with and save face and all the other shit. Yeah. You're not happy. That's hard to do. And a lot of women end up in situations like that because, one, your man is supposed to be the leader of the household and you follow. So just think about this. You married a man who you thought was going to be this. And then you get married and you're in a contract, because that's what it is. You're in a contract with this nigga and he got you doing all this crazy shit that you wasn't expecting to do. Okay.
So hold it right there. So my thing is this. Because I'm looking at it from the opposite side, right? If a man says everything that you're talking about, right? He actually acts on it and does everything, comes out, says, I wasn't happy, all this other stuff. What will probably happen? Women will criticize him. They'll say either he's weak or they'll say that he's not, quote unquote, what a real man is. And if he did fuck somebody that was I
think it depends on the rest of the information in the relationship, because people automatically think Jada's wrong.
Yeah, no, that's true. They automatically think that. Of course, you always got to look deeper in to see why the stuff happened. Now, if you look in the surface level on everything, we've all been knowing that they've had odds in their relationship.
Open relationship.
Yeah, open relationship, whatever. We either heard some I ain't even finna get into all that. But because, I think it's another valid reason why Jada moves the way she does.
Why?
No, I'm not going to say it on here.
Okay.
But I'm not going to say that.
Tell me later.
Okay, I'll tell you later. All right. But if it is a marriage and it is a contract and all the other stuff, publicity matters. And I'll be damned. Despite what's going on in our marriage, if we're still married, now I understand if we're divorced and you talk about that. But as long as we're in contract with each other, you can't do shit like that. Meaning you can have
What if he didn't care?
Huh?
What if he gave
He did care. The whole reason that all this shit actually started is because of Jada. Now, despite what she went through, the August Alsina shit, right? Will, if you looked at that man's face, I don't think it was so much.
He talked about that in the transcript.
Well, my thing is, I don't think he was so much stressed out about her messing around with August, right? It was, girl, you let this shit leak.
When he addressed that in the transcript, he said that people were talking about his face and the way he was looking at her.
Yeah,
he said we were going on vacation the next day, and I had been working doing a whole lot of
stuff. That's what he said. Yeah, I heard. Tired. He had been. He was
like that my facial expression had nothing to do with what she was saying.
That's smart because it's saving face. Because as a business, you have to make sure that your shit is straight.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, like you have to do. That's what a real man does.
That was tacky.
Yeah,
that was tacky.
But you gotta, because as a man, I looked at him and I was not thinking that he was tripping about her messing with somebody else. Because I mean, they do it all the time. It's just that, girl, you let this shit get out. Get your shit together. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're embarrassing.
She didn't let it get out. August was the one who did that.
But that's what I'm saying. Mess with somebody that you know has their shit together. Like, think about this.
What if she thought?
If you cheating, this is just something I'm saying. If you cheating, the goal is to what?
Keep it quiet.
Not get caught. Not get caught. So the thing is, you're never supposed to cheat on someone cheat with someone that has, they're not stable.
He was in love.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was in love. He was young, but it's like, I'm quite sure it's plenty of women that Will didn't mess with. But guess what? He keeps them in order, and he knows damn well if some shit leaks, it's going to look bad, not on just me, but it's going to look bad on the marriage in general. So she didn't have her shit together with August, because like you said, she didn't do it. He did it.
They said, from what they said, on the Red Table Talk, they were basically saying that they didn't plan on talking to each other again. He was like, I didn't think I was going to talk to you ever again. They were still married on paper. They weren't.
But they were saving face.
And I honestly think that if you go into the point where you mess with other people, you should go ahead and get divorced and decide what y'all going to do with all of y'all's things that you have collected in the marriage. You know what I mean? But I mean, they were fine. They had already been swingers for all these years, and then they were fine with staying legally married.
Yeah.
And them doing whatever. Because we never heard about who Will was dealing with during that time.
And you wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the only reason why we heard about August Alsina was because the nigga was weak. He was falling apart at the seams, and like you said, Jada. this was a dude who was.
That's the thing. Get your shit together.
But I don't even think it was her fault. She picked somebody, unfortunately, who was suffering from some mental illness.
So why would you do that?
She felt the need to fix somebody and be motherly.
Guess what? Excuses are tools of damn incompetence, and you know that well.
What?
Excuses. The definition of excuse. Look up what excuses are. This is the thing. But people, if you see, because my ass, look, let me tell you something. If I saw that a woman had mental issues, right, I would think that's not wise for me to mess with this particular individual. Not even in my marriage.
You wouldn't.
No, but listen, niggas do it, but that's accountability, because as a man, I even tell my homeboys, like, nah, she look a little crazy. After you're a certain age, and they're older than me, you have to be able to take accountability and be like, look, if I mess with her, you know this, Sean, like in the college days, in your early 20s and stuff, you don't know better, right? But once you hit 30 and 35 and you going all the way up, you better know who you're dealing with, because you can already see if a woman has issues. Now, some people are naive and some people are just plain stupid, just like old boy with Brittany Renner, right? Shout out to Brittany Renner.
Listen, shouting that girl out. When she said, hide your sons.
Look, she gonna be at JSU homecoming. She's on the flyer.
She on the flyer.
Yes. You ain't see the flyer? She is on the flyer.
Jackson got to be stopped.
Gonna be at M-Bar. I want to say, yeah. So listen, she already said she's
shopping for niggas.
Yeah, she is. She even tweeted it. She said that she's coming to. She said, I'm looking at JSU players. Some she said on Twitter.
She looking at Prime, Coach Prime.
Coach Prime. Yeah. So the thing is, she's saying that, right? Her PJ Thornton or whatever his name was. Washington. My bad.
You told that man name.
Right. My bad. But he saw that, so he has to be held accountable. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's just the accountability thing.
I just think, so when you're speaking of manipulation, I'm not saying Jada manipulated anybody.
Manipulated him.
You think she manipulated August?
Yeah.
You think so?
She took advantage of him, yeah.
You think so?
Absolutely.
You don't think she was trying to help him? Not at all?
Initially, but she saw somebody that was weak-minded.
Vulnerable.
Yeah, and vulnerable. Yeah, so she did that. She got.
I could see it, but
Jada fine as hell, by the way, too.
Let me say this, Jada. I don't know. I don't see something about her and Will is just real creepy and weird to me because they are so philosophical. They seem very, very wise. So they seem like they know what they're doing when they're doing all this bullshit.
Let me whisper something to you. So I'm gonna leave it right there. I didn't listen. It made her do that, so we're gonna move on from it.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll
right.
Doesn't that explain it? You know.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway,
they weird. They
weird.
That explains it even. Of course, she's looking for love. What you mean?
All right.
Okay, let's go.
Anyway, okay. So, did y'all see Squid? Did you see Squid Game?
I started watching it.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
I do really like it. I didn't finish it because I saw you talk about the ending was something you weren't expecting.
Yeah. I was let down by the ending.
Okay.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but I will say that Squid Game is a very interesting show. Mm-hmm. It's unorthodox. There's a couple of shows on Netflix that are like that, but it's like no other show that I've seen before.
Correct.
You know, and it's usually these like money heists and shows that are not American.
In English,
English, yeah, and they have a lot. So I thought it was real interesting that it was denied several times.
Yes, I read that story for 10 years.
Yeah, for 10 years.
For 10 years.
But I mean, when you look at it, you kind of could get it because okay, these are adults playing games, so you could die. See, back then it probably wasn't hot to do that. You know what I'm saying? But now I think with Netflix, you could literally put it up there and it's anybody's game versus how 10 years ago the industry was like completely different.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Still based on movies.
Yeah.
You know,
like just the whole standard format of
movies.
Stuff like that. The only thing different that they were doing back then was like the Matrix and, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you had different stuff, but this was like on some different shit right here.
Yeah. I got through the first 2 episodes and, you know, I like the foundation of this show. I like the idea of how they use the language, how they say, "Oh, you'll be eliminated," but they don't actually tell you how you're gonna be eliminated.
Yeah.
I actually think that's really cool.
That was,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I saw the meme with the little doll turned around. Lil Duval posted. He was basically saying how, you know, if they put this at traffic lights, maybe we wouldn't have any car accidents.
I swear to God, because I'll be on that thing like, let me stop. But it was, listen, y'all gotta watch it, man, because I think it's like it is the hottest show on Netflix right now. But you
10.
really, gotta get it. One more thing that I did want to touch on. No, I forgot to talk about this. So Lil Fizz, this man apologized to Omarion for sleeping with his baby mama.
Clown.
And then publicly coming out about it, right? Now, they're doing the Millennium Tour again. I didn't know. I thought it was just Omarion, but I guess B2K is joining him again or something like
everybody
that.
on there.
Yeah.
Bow Wow.
Yeah, so you know everything what happened. Okay. So let me ask you, like, how do you feel about, I mean, because it's an apology, right? But how do you feel about that situation?
It's still some clown shit. I went and looked at April. I watched a YouTube video about it. And they were real bold, real proud. Like, this my girl. Like, this, you know what I'm saying? Like
super bold.
Super bold.
Yeah.
And she was just like, there was a video of her. She was just like, y'all mad. I can't even be mad. I don't even care. I just got me some new dick. Blah, blah, blah. Love it.
And she was talking about dick.
Yeah.
His sex game better. All that.
She was so disrespectful. So, you know what I'm saying? On Fizz's part, that just breaks a man. That breaks friend code, period. It's not even, this is not just some woman I had sex with. This is a woman who's the mother of my child. She is technically family. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not gonna say I feel I have a family feeling for her, but she is the mother of my child. So that makes her.
How many? They got one kid.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But you know, she is technically family, and you fuck family.
That is a bro.
I don't feel like I mean, it was probably genuine because his bag messed up.
That's it.
That's it. The only reason why
the apology ain't even gonna get it. The fact that Omarion is even doing a show with you is good enough, right? Because
he let you come.
That he let you come. Because the thing is, you fucked up your bag. I don't know what your intention was behind that. Because you really must have had something against Omarion. First of all, you shouldn't be messing with anybody that your brother, your group mate. I don't give a fuck if it's just business. Don't fuck with nobody that your homeboy then had something.
Some
with.
people really don't care.
Some people don't.
Some people don't. But and I think that all depends on the type of relationship they had.
Right.
But this is baby mama, like
exactly. Like you gotta, if it's his ex baby mama or somebody that they were doing stuff. Some people don't, but I think it's best if you don't do that because then it's no conflict. Everybody's good. When the person comes around, you know what I'm saying, it ain't no big thing. But the fact that he was publicly embarrassing this man, and
he the only reason why he apologizes, another reason why he apologizes because the relationship with April didn't work out.
Exactly.
So they're not together. If they were together, he wouldn't be apologizing.
Yeah, because the way she was talking about his dick and they were taking pictures together, it was
tongues
crazy.
out in mouths and
exactly.
shit all on social media. No,
yeah,
he didn't care.
Cool.
He didn't care until his bag was gone and he realized that they aren't artists anymore. They're not going to make any more new music. Yeah. So his opportunity to make some new money was fumbled, and it was fumbled
unless he do that love and hip hop shit, which isn't really a bag. It's not
because they get paid like what $1,000 or $2,000 a show.
A show, yeah.
That's
and Lil Fizz he can't just say, hey, I have a show that I'm doing on my own, but he can make appearances. But
right.
I would only pay no more. I ain't even.
You wouldn't even.
But no, so thumbs down to Lil Fizz. Fuck your apology. I'll say that. I'm not even Omarion, but I don't believe it was genuine. I think that you did. You publicly did that. That's cool. But Omarion is about the bag, so. Omarion handled the situation the best way that a guy can handle.
He shook his hand just because he said it, but other than I don't think he really cared.
Fuck your apology.
He shouldn't care.
Yeah, he shouldn't. So, one more thing I wanted to touch on. All right, so, say me and you were together, right? And we balling, right? I ain't gonna say we rich, but we balling.
We balling.
And we've been together for a couple of years, and then for your birthday, I get you some real estate. Right? In your name, and I pay for the property or whatever. Is that too much if we're not married?
So, since you said different tax bracket, so I'm a gift giver. I probably do give, I have given some gifts, or I have spent money that was expensive, but it was something that was comparable for my tax bracket. Some other people might have said I wouldn't spend that much, but I got it and I'm not hurting to spend it. Right?
Yeah.
And that's for friends, period. Not just a relationship. So if I do that for friends, I definitely would do it for a relationship. Now, would I buy you 28 acres of land? No. Okay. Not unless we were married. But I think about it, if I was really balling, that probably wouldn't even be shit to me.
It wouldn't really be.
It wouldn't be shit to me. Like if I was a millionaire, hey, we can think about how much that land costs. He bought her a lamb truck.
So this is the thing. So the people I'm talking about is Moneybag Yo and what's his girlfriend's name? I forgot.
Ari Fletcher.
Ari Fletcher. She gifted him 20 acres of land. When did 20?
28.
20, yeah. So
28.
Yeah, get me corrected.
In
Tennessee, right? So the View host, what's her name? I'd be forgetting her name. She was Fancy. She played Fancy on the Jamie Foxx show. Garcia, whatever,
Brooks
right?
Or something.
Yeah. So the thing is, she had something to say about it on the View or whatever show she's on, and said that it was too much. They're not married or whatever. And it's like, how come he can buy the Lambo truck, jewelry, the shit that will depreciate, right? But cost just as much, if not more than the damn 28 acres. How come you can do that, but when it comes to investing into something, it's an issue. Just like right now, if I bought you a franchise, that's too much. But
I don't think it's too much, especially if you're intentional in a relationship. You're like, I plan on keeping her.
Yeah.
I think the only reason why Fancy probably had and I'm calling her Fancy, but I think the only reason why Fancy had an issue with that was because they got a toxic ass relationship. What's her name? Do? Yeah. What?
Moneybag Yo and Ari?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
What? Yeah. Ari be dancing on her friend Greg, throwing her ass back. And Greg is gay. And I get what she trying to use that.
Gay men have dicks too. Come on, man.
He can still.
It's a lot of gay men out here that
he can still like how it's moving, and it's still gonna rise. Yeah. So I mean, you sitting up here trying to use it. He's gay as a reason for why you did it is not acceptable for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I even feel like Now we're in like a sexual fluidity era. You have to be careful how you dance with some women. And I dance with my friends all the time. But
you twerk on them?
Yeah, I dance with my friends. Like,
do you twerk?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's very sexually expressive.
It's a skill set. It's a skill set, okay? But see, look, I was just having this conversation with your line brother about this.
Okay.
Because they came to homecoming with me.
Oh, okay.
But I was telling them, because I was dancing, they was just like, I was just like, I only do that to certain people who I know I can control.
Right, okay.
I won't do that to somebody who I feel like is not going to understand that I was just dancing with you.
Okay.
I have zero emotional attachment to dancing.
Got you.
And I think it's because I've been dancing for so long.
Right.
So I have zero emotional attachment to it, but I understand that men have an emotional attachment to it.
Yes.
And if I dance with a man a certain way and he doesn't know me from a can of paint, he's going to think I'm finna bust down. And I'm not.
Exactly.
So I don't do that with just
anybody.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm only going to do it with somebody I've probably danced with before.
Yeah.
And he know that person's going to know she just danced with me.
Because I'm saying, if you put your ass on my dick.
Exactly.
How else am I supposed to feel?
Exactly.
Yeah. It'd be different if we just two-stepping together, whatever. But you're putting
is different. Yeah.
A sexual part, like it could be considered sexual.
And
part
doing
of
a
your
good
body.
job at it.
Yeah. If a stripper do it to me, my dick getting hard. I'm just being honest. So when women be talking about some,
Oh, I was just there. Like, you can't shrug your shoulders on that.
Exactly.
I get what y'all mean, but you can't shrug your shoulders on that shit. You can't be doing that to men who are interested in you for real and who will take you down through there. You can't do that.
Yeah, because if you're really interested in a girl and she over here putting her ass on you,
you feel
you
like,
gonna think I
me.
can smash that.
She like me. She
like me, and she's sexually attracted to me.
Yeah.
Because despite what people feel, it's a sexual move. Like, if I see ass, I'm thinking about sex.
Yeah, and that's what Ari was doing to her friend.
Oh, that's crazy.
She would throw. I gotta show you the video.
Oh, that's
she
crazy.
was,
You
and her
ain't supposed
ass
to
is
do that.
huge.
Yeah,
And he was like giving her back shots and shit.
In
the club.
If she did it to her friend, her homegirl, or something like that,
she was tearing it down.
Okay, yeah, well, no.
But that was my point.
Yeah.
Even with some women, there are some women who will have sex with girls, so they get to rub it too much. I'm like, I will take your head clean off.
Yeah.
If you don't stop. Now we were just having a little kiki, let's
but
no,
not too much.
Not too much.
But despite that, if we're talking about just on the surface level, I think that there's nothing wrong with giving somebody something that is an investment. Like, if you really love that person or whatever, then you do it. And some people, like, they're rich,
they're rolling it.
Yeah, but I don't like the fact that we don't call out, like, because my thing is if I'm one of my homeboys bought a girl a car in our tax bracket, I'd be like, damn, I would hope you marry her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That would be equivalent to that. But 28 acres of land and stuff like that.
That's chump change
to them. So
it's nothing.
Yeah, y'all. So anybody who had something negative to say about it, I think that's kind of hating.
We have an issue with understanding things in other tax brackets.
Mm-hmm.
That's our issue. She has issues with understanding shit in our tax bracket because she call people broke every other day.
Oh, she do?
Yeah.
I don't even know her like that.
Man, what?
Shout out to
Ari so annoying.
Yeah, well.
I think that's what the issue is. People find them. I think if it had been like Issa and her husband, or anybody else, they'd be like, "Oh, that's so sweet."
Mm-hmm.
But
with them, it's toxic.
It's toxic as hell.
Yeah, you can't be twerking on. I don't care if he gay or not. You can't be doing that. Well. This has been this episode of Red's View. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to youtube.com/RedsView. You also need to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at JAYR3D. Visit redsview.com and also check out the channel. I just released a interview with DJ Yella of the legendary, groundbreaking NWA.
Oh,
so
cool.
y'all go ahead and check that out. Got some more interviews on the way. And where do we follow you?
Sold.Barbie on Instagram and on TikTok.
Soul.Barbie. You sound like you said sold out.
Oh,
Barbie.
Soul.Barbie. Let me slow down because I am from Mississippi. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm from Mississippi. You remember that song? That's crazy. But anyway, what?
You did not just do that. I'm from.
No, that song. It was somebody who really made that song. I'm from Mississippi.
But it's not gonna be the first thing you think about.
Anyway,
you gonna think about Crit or something.
David Banner. David Banner. He put y'all on.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming to Jimmy all the time.
Yeah, you got to give him credit to that. But anyway, man, shout out to Jackson. Shout out to Mobile. Shout out to everybody. All HBCUs.
Turn up.
Turn up. Get lit.
It's homecoming season.
It's homecoming season, so make sure you do it. And if you need a DJ, book me. I got some dates that I'm doing this month. So anyway, this is J Red, Arnesia, Red's View. We're signing out.
Bye.
Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, don't give up, give up. Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, don't give up, give up. Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, don't give up, give up. Don't give up, you gon' be on. Don't give up, give up, give up.